What's going on, everybody? It's Paris76 here, and I'm going to be coming at you with another Memories Mars video today. And from how we left off last time, you can just kind of tell that the base is a little plain. And what we're going to be trying to do today is get some of the materials to build some of the devices that we're going to need. Like a small storage vault. That's going to be something that we're going to need to get today, because we're going to be starting to build some of these refining devices that are going to take a lot of materials that are actually pretty heavy. So and as you can see right here, we do have the materials to go ahead and get this thing placed. And I'm gonna place it right against this wall. This is some of the stuff that I've collected over the first episode. Some of it I don't even know where it came from, like this low-grade SMG ammunition, the second welding torch, this schematic, which is something. The schematics are something that you get later on when you're in the skill tree. There's some of the very last stuff, and the one I got was for marksman rifle, the tier 3 sniper. Now these can be rare depending on the location where you're at on the map. And also acid. That was something I don't even know where I got it from. I guess it was from hitting a random crate or something. But that, you can either get that from one of two places, and that's from either crates or from mobs. The mobs that drop the acid, that is a pretty dangerous mob to get around, especially at a very low level, because they can actually kill you really quick. And the next piece we're going to have to build is going to be a little bit more complicated to build, because this right here needs 2 vertical walls to build. So that means I'm going to have to modify this corner of the base right here. So that means the tile that I put up in the last episode, I've got to remove and make basically like a small box up here for more stuff to get built. And now some of the only problems when it comes to building like this is you can't just reach that very top one. So what I'm gonna have to do is, once I get this box right here built, all the walls, then I'm gonna have to place a staircase down to be able to access the top, to get closer to the top where I can get that built. So, and the stairs are in support, which don't honestly know why they are, but you don't have to build it all the way, just enough where you can get up on it, because all we're using that for is a temporary stepping stone where we can get all the way up to build. And then this is just breaking it like that, and make sure you didn't damage the wall you were pointing at when you broke it. And now you can actually go in and build the smelter. Now this smelter is a large, it's called a furnace in the game, but it does the same thing as the industrial smelter, which is just breaking down the iron ores, turning it into normal iron. And there's a couple other materials it does with too that will take a little bit to get in the game. Like, now I can go in here, like right here is magnesium. That is something that is, you get it just like iron ore. But the only reason that you get magnesium is from certain areas on the map that I'll slowly start getting into later on in this episode. Because one of the things we have to build is going to require some of that stuff. This right here is a 3D printer. That is going to be a need for crafting some of the like tier 2 things, like weaponry, stuff like that. That's going to be coming on. Hopefully 2 or 3 things in this video. But this gives you access to not just level 1, but slowly getting into level 2 stuff right here. And a scrap grinder. That will be what we will need just for the basics. The reason is once we get to like some of our tools starting to break down and stuff, they're going to have a very low durability. We can just swap them out with a newer tool. Like we have a full welding tool in K1. So this one that is almost completely broke, we can just go ahead and put in here. And it'll start returning with iron. But you can also put scrap metal in there, which will pop out aluminum. Now, some of these energy drinks and stuff you can throw in there, just like some of this ammunition. I really don't go for the submachine gun in this game. I don't really use them because of how I play. I normally go for the handguns, which is the small arms, assault rifles, shotguns. Those are the main ones I'll roll with, and every once in a while I'll roll with a sniper, just depending on where you're going to be at on the map. But just starting off, your best bet is to go for pistols and try to get the SA-990 Bane and the 10.8mm Magnum rounds. The reason why I'm saying those are going to be some of your best bets is because just this stuff alone can kill about 80% of the mobs on the map. But for now, the best thing to do is go by your base missions, which is right now we're on craft a worker's chest protector, craft first aid spray. That kind of stuff is actually pretty easy to do, and I think that might be the last one for this set. So what we're gonna do is see what all we need to craft it. So we need 80 flops to get that thing done, which is to get the first aid spray we need. But we can go ahead and craft the chest protector. And like some of the stuff that are unlocked right here, this is a chest rig. It makes it where you can, it increases your oh man, what's it called? It increases how much you can carry, so that you don't have to worry about getting your capacity right here. Once your capacity gets over this mark right here, it's going to make it where it's harder for you to run, and it's going to slow you down big time. And right now, I'm just going to put some of this stuff in here. Because you can see every time I was putting stuff in, that bar was going down further and further. And I'm also going to equip some of this. Now is just basically trying to get up to the 80 flops that are going to be needed to do the level. Now, some of the areas you can go to are going to be like right over there, which I'll be going to right after I kill these two mobs. Just because trying to find some of the resources, that can be one of your best areas to find resources. And right there is going to be the first mob that will actually shoot. Sometimes you can get lucky and get them knocked out before they come and shoot at you. Other times, you really can't. You know, why? Setting. I don't know why my controller keeps getting binds with a weird control setting. Where all these blue marks are, these are containers that you can actually loot. Some of these can give you some really good needs, then others just give you like food or some random kind of material. Like right there was a little bit of iron sitting on the ground. I can't remember, but I think you can actually. And the cutting torch I'm going to be trying to go for later on in this video, because that is actually the best way to get even all these mob drops, and also going for this, because the cutting torch can help out a lot with different things. It really depends on the location on the map you're at and what materials you have for harvesting. But over in here, as you can see, I've already gotten 13 iron, 4 copper, 4 aluminum, and 7 scrap metal. And also lemonade, which is going to be something good to kind of help boost nutrition when needed. There's a couple of different types that you can go for when it comes to the nutrition. The best ones are going to be like your lemonade and some of your drinks. You are also going to have rations that will come in every once in a while. But you have to watch out with some of them, because some of them can actually harm you more than anything. Like right there, I just got 2 copper from hitting that 1 container. But every once in a while you can find some good stuff. It's more a roll of the dice if you're going to get anything good or if it's going to be bad. And apparently I got a resource tracker. These are resource trackers, and they actually can help with different things. You see the coordinates right there, 631, 465. If you go to your map, go try to find for 631. As you can see in the bottom of the map, it's going to pop up coordinates. So right here is 631. So it's right there. Now these can be real good, but they can also be bad, just depending on luck. That's basically all this is, honestly, is luck. If you can get some good stuff, that's great. But then other times you're just going to get probably like food or something like that. It's not really the best or anything like that. Thankfully, with us still being right near the beginner area, we're not having to worry about mobs trying to come after us at the moment. But then there are a lot of different areas on this map that you will have to worry. And with the resource tracker, you're basically just going to be running, looking at the ground until the dark blue turns bright blue. It's a light on it that when you get right on top of it, like right there. So if you back up, you see how the light is turned off. You get closer, it turns on. And right here is the resource. Now this one was actually pretty good. First aid spray, MK2, oxygen, biomass, which is used for making food, iron, and nitrate. That kind of stuff is actually really good for a very low level resource stash. But now we can just run back to base and hopefully we got enough materials to make the first aid spray Mach 1. I'm not really too worried on looting these for the scrap metal and the tiny bit of aluminum that you can get at the moment. That kind of stuff is going to be needed a lot more later in the future once we start getting some of the Mach 2 stuff crafted. And the good thing is with this, you can go and just chunk it all in here, and you don't have to sit there the whole time as all of it is being smelted. You can actually walk away from it. So now the thing is going into the skill tree and unlocking the first aid spray. Now you can craft 13, but all we need is 3. So I'm just going to sit here and craft these 3 real quick. It's going to pop up claim rewards for the protocols right here. And this one, search any of the abandoned mining outposts for clues about the breakdown. Gathering intelligence, salvage copper from powered electronics, scavenge leftover supplies. Now this is where you're going to start finding a lot more mobs that are going to be able to try to kill you. So right here you got Koran, Scafell, and Cheviot. And right here we're above one of the outposts right now. Now this is going to be one of the better ones to go ahead and go to, because with this being right below us at the starting area, we could get probably half if not all of what we need there. So it's just making sure we got some ammunition, but we can always craft more. Right there was 180 rounds of ammunition that is being crafted at the moment. sometimes you do have to watch out because you do not want to go into some of these areas weighing like that. This is a rare like carbine, but it's not really that good. So I'm just going to sit that one back. The main thing we're going to need is first aid spray, food, and oxygen. Because sometimes you can get into areas where you cannot get out to go get oxygen, then other times you can. So it's always good having that one supply on you in case you do get pretty far away. And sometimes when you start getting closer to like the areas that you're doing your protocols in, they'll start popping up marks like this. That is the gather intelligence piece right there. And all these blue markers are supplies. Now right here, this is a schematic authenticator. That is for when you start getting closer to the tier 3 materials, you can come in there and get some of that stuff set up. There are a lot of mobs in different areas. So you always have to go slow in some of these areas just because of all the mobs that are possible to run into. Because some of them are not going to be bad, then other ones can actually almost kill you instantly. And I did not mean to grab 2 of those. Okay, apparently I didn't. Some of these areas you can find good stuff in that you would never honestly think about being able to find. And other times you can find stuff not even expecting it. You've almost got full armor, which is going to be good, especially at our lower level, because armor is going to be something really needed. Let's see. That's going to be the next step to get to, because that is going to be able to help us get the copper a lot faster. Cutting torch can go for copper a lot easier. Like right there I only got 2 copper. Now if I was to have had that cutting torch, I could have probably gotten close to 5 or 6, if not more. The BR Charger, that is a first level assault rifle. But I do not have any of the ammunition crafted, so I can't just go and start using that thing, unfortunately. But you see it says receive a larger yield, use a cutting torch. Right there is basically saying if you're wanting to get a better yield from your harvest, to use the cutting torch due to you can go get more from it. This right here, when you have more than one person on a server, you can get something called PvP. On the server, what normally happens is, like, this entire area will come into player versus player. It will go underneath of a big dome for people to actually go in there, kill each other, and go for flops, which is your in-game currency, basically your lifeline in the game. Sometimes it's good to go into those, other times it's not. Because the hardest part is knowing if it is going to be rewarding or not. Most of the time it is rewarding because you can get stuff that you really do need. And other times it is not the best to even try. Right here is another mob that can shoot at you, which is not that common to find in this area. But he shoots mines, which is one thing you gotta watch out for. Right, there's a flashlight, which we really don't need at the moment. Sometimes at night in the game it can get so dark that it is hard to see. That's when it would be better to get some of these flashlights and stuff. Or just get something built in on your weapon, or get a headlamp with one. Because with just how dark it can get in the game at night, it does come hard to see sometimes. And we're almost done with gathering all the intelligence, and gathering copper, we should not have that much more to get. Some of these places you have to visit more than one time, than others you just gotta visit once. Which, yes, it does suck. That's how it has to be. But it does help sometimes. And right now is basically just trying to find the last little bit of copper that you're going to need and get into that last intelligence. And the last intelligence is right down over here. And as you can see, you only need 3 more copper, which sometimes you can find, sometimes you can't. But we do have one more place we can check for copper, which is this building right here. Most of the time this building does have the copper needed, but sometimes it don't. Where there was only 1 copper. bad thing is you have to get it from the electronics, which are the computers that you see that are lit up a little bit, kind of like this one. And I'm going to finish looting before I get out of here, because some of these materials, you don't know when you're going to be able to need it, and it's better to just go ahead and have some materials on you. Like now, I have enough flops, which is the in-game currency, to go and get that welding torch that I needed. But also, we got all the materials needed to hopefully build it. And as y'all were able to see, there are some mobs in some of these lower level areas that can do some damage. Now, depending on your level of armor, depends on how good you're going to be able to withstand some of them. Other ones, if you got even some of the strongest armor on, they can still destroy you. But as you can see, it's starting to get dark in the game right now, so it's going to be best to just go ahead and get back to base. Because that means that we can turn around and get the cutting torches, which is going to be a real big need. And then we can slowly start working our way up to getting that, which is 640. And with the wall printer, right here is where we need to start showing signs for magnesium, which we already had some from looting a couple of crates. And one thing I normally do is, first off in the game, is go ahead and get a worker's headlight. I normally do that instead of getting the just normal head protector, because it makes it where you can do stuff. But if you also look right here, there's another resource tracker. And your inventory, when you go into some of these missions like what we just did right there, your inventory can get really cluttered. And here's some of the high energy food packs and the cuisine food packs. These are some of your better ones for health compared to your lemonade and your energy drinks. You also got fruit juice. Every single one of these are good to use. As you can see, it says restores nutrition and health over time on all of these. That one just says restores nutrition over time. But like your drinks, they will do health as well. And MedPack 1, that helps resupply your health if you are extremely low, better than this will. And that, okay, so right here, that is the tier 1 pistol. But we can get rid of that, because right here is a tier 2. The tier 2 is actually going to be a lot better. It's got better durability, meaning it's going to last longer and you take a lot more shots compared to some of the other stuff. And now all we got to do is compile these intelligence, which is all of these.
Greetings, friend. I see you've been busy. You found the messages sent out by our governor. He was a bonehead and had no idea what was really happening behind the scenes. You need to dig deeper. Search every place you find for data. Follow the protocols. Those that have the real information will have left it where they worked, or fell. I believe there was much more happening here than any of us realized, even those of us who thought we knew everything. Find these secrets for us. We are counting on you. Stephen Paul signing.
And that was basically talking about all the protocols. Like, we just completed this one. Now it's going towards cross country, which is going to be your next level. I think there's a total of like 7 or 8 levels before you get to the point where you can launch this. Your memory capsule is something that you have to work towards. Because with the memory capsule, that's this right here. And you're going to have to slowly work towards that, because your survival points come from how much you level up. Now, we got 260 flops from that, which is going to help us go for the 640 right here. I just gotta, there we go. And using the headlight, you don't have to worry about some areas on the map. 652. And that is down in a big canyon. And in this big old canyon right here, that's where we're going to have to go to get that one. And with it being night out, you don't really... Sometimes you need the headlight, it just depends on where you're at. Then other times, no matter what you're doing, you're going to need it. Like where we're going right now, we're basically going towards a safer way to get down into the canyon. Which is meaning we're going to have to run this way before we can get down there. Right here is a slope that goes all the way down. And right here is another area where you can sometimes get some decent loot from. There's a worker's chest rig and nails. The nails are for another weapon that is not common to get until you're almost halfway through the story missions. And right here, you can see the next protocol saying access the administration terminal to upgrade your base. build a scrap grinder and a cloning chamber. The cloning chamber is where if you do die, you can respawn at your base and not have to worry about spawning in and having to hunt your base down. That is good if you're having to build small little outposts in different areas on the map. That way, if you die in those certain little areas, you can immediately spawn in up there to get back to all your materials. Now, when it comes to finding this resource right here, it's just running this line till that light comes up again. But we also we're probably going to be running for a good distance because it's going to be up in the middle of all this up here. And that's some good stuff right there. The adrenaline shots. Adrenaline shots can help you out big time when you get into an area where you're getting shot constantly. Those adrenaline shots are faster to use than any of the sprays. The only thing is that they can get shot out of your hands, unlike the sprays. The welding torch was able to give us a lot more copper, if you were able to tell right there, than what the pulse excavator has been doing. The pulse excavator normally gives like 2 or 3 pieces of copper when it comes to hitting that kind of stuff. Then you got other pieces that can go, and it's real hard to get it. Like the smaller computers, if we had this thing, it would have been going a lot smoother. You would have been able to get probably 5 per one, if not more. But we had only a couple of small pieces on us, and that was it. Now, sometimes what I like to do, going for a shortcut, is I do like running back through that same area instead of having to worry about different things. Because sometimes when you have to run all the way around, you can get to the point where you need oxygen and there's none around. But this entire area over here is just basically a massive area on the map for spawning at a very low level and ranking up to the point where you can go to some of the harder areas on the map. You've got 3 areas like this. But this is the safest one to go into at the moment. And we're almost back at base. So that means when we get back to the base, I can start slowly building some of the materials needed. like we already have them built in the base, so all I really need to do, like scrap grinder right here, just damage it a little bit and build it. And right there, that part's already done, because it says access the administration terminal to level up stuff. You really don't need to. The only thing I need to get is going to be the cleaning chamber, because it says to build one of those. And now we just got to build the cleaning chamber. As you see, it says we don't have the aluminum needed, but there's some aluminum in there, that way we don't have to worry. And then that mission is done. Now if you see, we just got 200 flops. That is going to help us with this, because all we need now is like 30 more, which is not much. We can just go right outside and mine some iron to get that. Sometimes it's easier just going for the iron. Then other times all you need is just that one mob, which is what I'm gonna hope to try to find real quick as I sit here mining. Because we're at 634, still climbing. Now we literally just need 3 more. We got one mob right here that can drop some. That was 21, the mob dropped right there. So now what we can do is go in here. Now we have that unlocked. But you see right here, it is real part demanding, because you need a lot of materials to build it, which is stuff that we've already looted over time. Now, sometimes we still might not have enough, but we have enough to just barely make one. Now with us having one of those in our inventory, we can turn around and scrap the lower level 1 right here and replace it with the level 2. And I think that's where I'm going to log off for today. If you did enjoy the video, hit the like button and don't forget to subscribe.